It's time for my first FC26 takeover. And of course, I had to take the toughest job in world football in managing Man United. So as I take over Man United for the next 10 seasons, the goal is to win them 25 trophies. However, this isn't a regular takeover, as this one is going to be extreme and it's going to get chaotic. Before I explain why this is an extreme takeover, not only do we have to win 25 trophies, but in order to take United back to the very top, we obviously also have to bring back the Champions League back to Old Trafford, as they haven't won it since 2008. And speaking of 2008, that's when Ronaldo won the Ballon d'Or at United, which means we also have to have a Ballon d'Or winner at our club. Something else we also have to do is win the treble, as United have won historic treble in 1998. And the final challenge we must also do is find a replacement for Man United's greatest ever player in Cristiano Ronaldo. So we need to sign a Portuguese left winger. And this is the current Man United side that actually beat Chelsea. But of course, I will not be using Amorim's tactics or his formation. But before we get into that, of course, we're gonna have unexpected events. However, they're gonna be on extreme mode. So basically, every single season, we will have an unexpected event that can either give us an injury crisis or sell our best player in Mateus Cunha. However, as the season progresses here at Man United, the unexpected events will get even harsher. So for example, our first unexpected event this season is that the board has let us know we've spent enough money this window, and I am not allowed to sign anybody this season, as I'm forced to test out the squad that Amorim has brought in. But to be honest, I'm not too upset that I'm not able to sign anyone, because United have brought in brilliant players. Players like Brian Mbeumo and Mateus Cunha are players you build your teams around. And even players like Lenny Euro, Kobe Mainu, and Benjamin Sesko are the future of this very club. But of course, the first order of business is the brand new formation. I will be rocking a 4-1-3-2 with two strikers up front. However, one of them is a false 9. And this will be my Man United starting 11 with Mateus Cunha and Sesko playing up top. And I know Kobe Mainu is more of an 8 than a 6, but I think he could do a great job there, while Mbeumo and Amad Diallo are going to be playing on the opposite wings. So I've gone ahead and started training Mainu, Amad Diallo, and Cunha to the new positions. However, even though I can't sign players, I'm still allowed to sell the 2 players I want to, as well as loan out our youngsters so they can get some game time. However, there's a huge problem. A new addition in FC26 is that you're only able to give players contracts if they want to re-sign one, so we have to be very careful we don't piss anybody off, because if not, we can lose someone like Sesko for free in the future. And boys, remember, one of our challenges is to find the next Ronaldo by getting a Portuguese left winger to a 90 overall. So I think as of right now, I'm going to send a scout to Portugal to go ahead and find us that left winger. And who knows, maybe this guy will be the next Ronaldo. And as I went ahead and sold Casemiro and loaned out our youngsters so they can grow, to be honest, I would have loved the transfer window, because I think we're missing still plenty of signings. Signing a superstar left back and even a superstar right back. And of course, a world-class goalkeeper, because Lamens, as young as he is very unproven. However, this season is a chance for all of these players to prove to themselves and to me that they deserve to play for Man United. And we've reached the end of the first season, and Cunha, Mbeumo, and Sesko had brilliant seasons, all of them scoring a plus 10 goals. And you know what? Jadon Sancho had a brilliant season out on loan. We can either sell him for a lot of money to sign a bunch of players, or even put him back in the squad. However, there is some bad news. Harry Maguire's contract is about to end, but he does not want an extension, so that means we're also gonna have to sign more center backs. But you know what? The growth of this team has been absolutely incredible. The front two in Cunha and Sesko are both above an 83 overall. Brian Mbeumo is now at an 86, and Amad Diallo's gone up to a +2 at an 81. However, the likes of Lenny Euro and Kobe Mainu did not grow that much, and I think it's because we had Lisandro Martinez and Manuel Ugarte in the side. We might have to sell these 2 players, or even loan out these youngsters, because they do have a future at this club. But of course, the question is, did we win any trophies? And sadly, we have not won the Premier League. We actually finished in 9th place. But hey, at least we upgraded from the 15th they got last year. However, the FA Cup was won by Liverpool, and the Carabao Cup was won by Man City. And I can't believe this. Lisandro Martinez will be joining Man City. I was not able to stop this. So at the start of next season, we will be losing 2 center backs. Our squad depth has been destroyed. However, the bad news continues. I did find some Portuguese left wingers, but none of them had the potential to become the next Ronaldo. So maybe at the start of next year, we can sign somebody. So to kick off season number 2, there goes Lisandro joining our second biggest rivals in Man City. But boys, there is some good news, as we have 237 million left to spend, and of course, we no longer have the transfer transfer ban. And in terms of players that we need to sign this season, I think we definitely need to bring in a center back. I might have to loan out Lenny Euro so he can regain his potential. The same goes for Kobe Mainu. I think Manu Ugarte will be a great backup, and we can sign an amazing CDM. And I think finally I would like to sign a left back. Thorgu, who has been incredible, but we need to sign somebody better if we want to get back into Europe so we can start winning some trophies. And when I thought about CDMs, I want to go ahead and bring in Frankie de Jong from FC Barcelona in his prime, 87 overall. However, it's not gonna be that simple because we finished in 9th place last season. Nobody playing in the Champions League will want to sign for us. So until we qualify for the Champions League once again, we cannot sign anybody who is playing in that competition. So why not be a little realistic and go ahead and bring in Carlos Baleba? He's already at an 83 overall. And as he is only valued up to 64 million, I think we could get him for very cheap and sign the rest of the positions we do want. But before I sign Baleba, let's go ahead and loan this Mainu. Oh no, he's joining Aston Villa in the transfer window opens, which is in a day's time. Man, this whole contract thing is so OP. Please, EA, fix it. So because we lost Kobe Mainu for 53 million, I immediately brought in Carlos Baleba. If you guys have enjoyed this video so far, make sure to subscribe. However, what I've done as well is also create a transfer list because we need to sell players as soon as possible before we lose them on a free, considering they never want a contract these days. But of all players, I actually didn't transfer list Jadon Sancho as I want to go ahead and give him a chance again to play for United. But before I can sign the rest of my targets, we did get another unexpected event. And that unexpected event is contract dispute. Bruno Fernandez wants to go ahead and sign a new contract with the club, but he wants to double his current wages. We can either keep Bruno Fernandez and make him happy. However, if we do give him that new contract, it says that we will also have to sell 2-star players as they will be unhappy that Bruno Fernandez has his wages doubled. And boys, this is a tough decision to make, but I think it's time that we get rid of the captain because there's a huge chance that Brandon Buemo and Cunha could be the two players that want to leave the side. But as I'm waiting for offers for Bruno Fernandez, I went ahead and signed some players. I brought in Anthony Robertson for 32.3 million from Fulham. I spent 35 million to bring in Ezri Konsa from Aston Villa, who don't have UCL football. And for a whopping 50 million, I brought in Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace, as he was yet to join Liverpool, and it was all fair game to sign him up for the club. But there it is, Bruno Fernandes is leaving the club for 50 million to join Man City. Man, I cannot believe this guy wanted money and ended up going to our rivals. So now with our brand new signings, this is what the lineup is looking like, as Ezri Konsa will be the backup center back fighting with our other two. But of course, we no longer have a center attacking mid. And I think as of right now, I don't want to sign one. So what I'm going to do is move Mateus Cunha back to that center attacking mid position, and I'm going to go ahead and sign a second striker to play alongside Benjamin Sesko. And because we sold a bunch of deadwood, we have 264 million. But of course, we must find a striker that is not playing in the Champions League. And you know what? To sign this striker, I'm going to use a new feature. If you click in on your right stick, you can go back to the previous season and look at every single league you are tracking and their top goal scorers. So in terms of the top goal scorers in the Premier League, a lot of them will be playing Champions League football. But Chris Wood is going to be an option, but to be honest, I'm not signing him. And I think I have found the perfect striker to play alongside Sesko, and that is Moise Kean, who scored 18 goals in 38 appearances in the Serie A. So for a whopping 65 million, we are signing an 84 rated Moise Kean. I know he is not the best striker in the world, but we cannot sign anybody who is playing UCL football. And this will be our final lineup for season number 2. Who knows, we may already have the future Ballon d'Or winner at this club. Obviously, we're still missing the replacement for Ronaldo, but we have so many seasons to complete that. Let's go ahead and start winning trophies and hopefully qualify for the Champions League. And season number 2 has come to an end, and Cunha and Sesko both scored 22 goals each, while Brian and Bremo, Jadon Sancho also did decent. However, Moise Kean only played 8 games and scored 2 goals. I think I know what the issue is. Because Mateus Cunha is 88 overall and his second position is a striker, he will automatically start in one of those positions. So sadly, I think next season we're gonna have to get rid of Kean and get an actual center attacking mid. But regardless, the squad continues to grow. Sesko is now at an 86, while Cunha and Bremo are above that rating. Amad Diallo is really struggling to go as Jadon Sancho has overtaken him. Maybe Sancho should be the one starting. But yes, boys, we've improved. We're only in 6th place. At least we have European football next season. The FA Cup was won by Arsenal. We also missed out on the Carabao Cup, so that means no trophies for Man United this season. But boys, I think I have found the Ronaldo replacement in Alvaro Vaz. He's a 65 overall, and has 82 to 88 potential. I could see this guy reaching a 90 overall. Let's sign him up. And kicking off season number 3, Bayındır has actually left us on a free because he refused to sign a contract. However, this is what our current squad is looking like right now. I think in terms of signings, we need to bring in a right back to compete with Mazraoui, a backup goalkeeper for Lamin since Bayındır left, and of course a brand new attacking mid since Mateus Cunha is just gonna play striker anyways. And with the 263 million we do have, we should be able to sign replacements, but of course no one still from the Champions League. However, it is time for our unexpected event, and that unexpected event is foreign systems. The board has told us that in this transfer window we are not allowed to bring in anybody that is European. These unexpected events just continue to get harder, and I think I have found the perfect 3 players in Xian Suzuki from Japan, Guela Due, Desiree Doué's brother. This could potentially open up a future transfer for Desiree Doué to come to United. And finally, one of the world's best wonder kids in Nico Paz, who's already at an 85 overall and Argentinian. So for 23.5 million, we brought in Xian Suzuki. For 38 million, we brought in Guela Due. And for a straight swap deal for Moise Kean, Nico Paz is joining the side. And season by season, our squad continues to improve, while our bench is also looking incredible. I think this is the year we qualify for the top 4, but more importantly, win our first trophy. And this time around, Brandon Bueno was the top goal scorer with 33, but Sesko and Sancho scored 20 plus goals, while Nico Paz and Cunha did well on the assist charts. However, there's some bad news. Matthijs de Ligt will be joining Arsenal when the transfer window opens, while our backup camp Joshua Zirkzee has gone to Nottingham Forest. These players just continue to leave us, man. However, nothing stopping us from improving. Mateus Cunha is at a 91 overall. He might be the guy that wins the Ballon d'Or. And yes, we have done it. We're back in the Champions League, finishing in 2nd place. However, we failed to win the FA Cup and also lost in the final to Arsenal in the Carabao. But in the Europa League, we also lost in the final. 3 seasons in, 0 trophies won so far. But there's more great news as Alvaro Vaz has gone up a +7. And I know in a couple seasons time he'll be in the starting 11 and reaching that 90 overall to replace Ronaldo. And to kick off season number 4, there goes Matthijs de Ligt to Arsenal. But white players keep snaking us. But it's time for our next unexpected event, and it is Luis Figo 2.0. You have to go ahead and swap your best player with Liverpool and receive their worst player in the same position as your best player. And boys, this is terrible news. Our highest rated player is Mateus Cunha, and we're gonna be losing him to our biggest rivals in Liverpool, and we're gonna have to swap him for their worst striker at their club. And yes, boys, this is great news. They only have 2 strikers in Hugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak, and because Ekitike is worse, that's the player we get to have. So for a straight swap deal from Mateus Cunha, we are bringing in Hugo Ekitike, and to be honest, we got lucky there. But these unexpected events keep getting harder, and this is what our lineup is looking like at the beginning of the season. But of course, we are now allowed to sign superstars because we're back in the Champions League. And if we take a look at our side, Sancho has been incredible, but I think we need a superstar left mid as well as a superstar left back. And because Matthijs de Ligt left, I know Lenny Euro's been struggling. We need a world-class center back as well. And let me tell you, I have 3 world-class players on this short list. The first one being left back Alvaro Carreras, 87 overall at just 25 at Juventus. And for the center back position is Eder Militao at 30 years old and still at an 87. Relatively cheap. I think he will help us win trophies. And finally, one of the best players in the world. He has 12 months left on his contract, and it is Desiree Doué. We have his brother. It should be easy to convince him. So for 125.5 million, we're bringing in Desiree Doué. And for 80 million plus Anthony Robertson, we brought in Alvaro Carreras. But sadly, we could not afford Eder Militao. But surely now in season number 4, we should start winning trophies. Have a chance of having a Ballon d'Or winner. Possibly win the Champions League or the treble. Let's kickstart Man United's dynasty at the very top. And it's another great season for Mbeumo with 35 goals, 28 for Sesko, and 23 for Desiree Doué on his debut season. And I'm telling you right now, this is the best squad in world football. I did change the formation, and all of our 4 attackers are above a 90 rated but Ekitike. And sadly, we missed out on the Premier League by 14 points, but we failed to win the FA Cup. And yes, we've won our first trophy, the Carabao Cup, against Forest. But boys, we're in our first Champions League final. If we win this, we achieve one of our objectives. It could potentially have a Ballon d'Or win. winner. But it's time for the UCL final. Can we beat the greatest team of all time in Real Madrid? And it's going to be a 3-2 victory as Desiree Doué and Sesko score a double to win our Champions League and to complete that objective. And because we won the Champions League, we have gotten our Ballon d'Or winner. It's Bryan Mbeumo of all people. That is that challenge completed. That means we still have to win the treble, win 23 more trophies, and of course get a Portuguese left winger to reach a 90 overall. However, there is terrible news. Benjamin Sesko will be joining Arsenal, while Amad Diallo will be joining Dortmund, and Guela Doué will also be joining Arsenal. We've lost 3 players despite winning the Champions League. Man, this contract situation is just terrible. So as Benjamin Sesko leaves the club in season number 5, we somehow have to recover from losing 3 very crucial players. And boys, this is what our squad looks like now. And to be honest, it's not looking too bad, but Sesko has left a huge gap. Well, we now literally have no reserves. We have a lot of signings left to make. But to make things even worse, it's time for our unexpected event. And that unexpected event is a player is now bigger than the club. Bryan Mbeumo has let the club know that he wants to leave the club and transfer list himself, as he is now a Ballon d'Or winner and is way too big for Man United. And as I transfer list Bryan Mbeumo, this makes the situation so much worse. So because Mbeumo is leaving United, I've changed the formation to a 4-3-3 attack just because we already lost Sesko and now Bryan Mbeumo. So that means we're gonna have to go ahead and bring in another center midfielder or a cam, as Nico Paz can play both positions, another right winger, and hopefully if we have enough money, a player to replace Guela Doué. But before I sold Bryan Mbeumo for 80.5 million, I brought in Giovanni Quenda, as I'm gonna convert him to the left wing and he could be the Portuguese left winger to hit a 90. And for another 85 million, I brought in Tino Livramento from Manchester City. And there goes Bryan Mbeumo for 180 million, joining Arsenal. Why do players like to go from Man United to Arsenal? We just won the Champions League. And now that I have 384 million, the cam I want to go ahead and bring in is Jude Bellingham, who's at a 94 overall. And for 260 million, we are bringing in Jude Bellingham, one of the world's best players. Surely we should be winning 23 more trophies in no time. And this is what the brand new side is looking like. Again, I think it's the best in the world. Sesko and Mbeumo are gonna regret leaving. And as I was simulating to the end of the season, Desiree Doué has submitted a transfer request. And sadly, he does not want to sign a new contract. And the club already has accepted an offer, 129 million for Phil Foden. I guess we're gonna have to take it, but this might stop us from one day winning the treble and those 25 trophies. And sadly, Doué is leaving the side as we have gotten an 89 rated Phil Foden. At least we got a player back. However, we lost one of the best players in world football. And we've reached the end of the season. Ekitike with 43 goals and 9 assists, while Bellingham got 23 and 9 in his first season. However, Phil Foden wasn't too impressive. I know Doué would have scored at least 15 goals. But the bad news continues as we're losing our 2 starting center backs in Konsa to Arsenal and Mark Guehi to Liverpool. These contract situations keep screwing me over. But regardless of everything happening, our team continues to look strong. But next season, we're gonna have to bring in 2 amazing center backs. But Doué leaving has affected us. We finished in 5th place. That is a huge drop-off, man. And we also lost the FA Cup final to City, but we do pick up our 3rd trophy in the UEFA Super Cup. And once again, we're in the Champions League final. The only way we get UCL football next season is if we beat Bayer Leverkusen. So it's time for the UCL final. We desperately need trophies. We desperately need this UCL win. It's going to be a 4-3 victory as Ekitike scores 2 and Carreras and Bellingham win us our 2nd Champions League. We now have 4 trophies to our name. And we got a 2nd Ballon d'Or winner in Hugo Ekitike. However, we still have 19 trophies to win, a treble to win. And we need a Portuguese left winger to hit a 90 overall. And kicking off season number 6, there goes Mark Guehi, but we know Ezri Konsa is also leaving. I just hope whatever the unexpected event is, we stop losing players. So this is what our side is looking like in season number 6, with 2 clear signings needing to be made, 2 brand new center backs. And I can't lie, I think I found the perfect partnership in Alessandro Bastoni and Giorgio Scalvini. Having 2 players from the same nation, they will have unstoppable chemistry and we can win all of the trophies. However, it is time for our unexpected event, and that unexpected event is continental diversity. The club wants to make sure that every signing we make this season are all playing for a different continent. And I think out of Bastoni and Scalvini, Vini, I need somebody in their prime, and that is Alessandro Bastoni. But now I must find a center back that is not European. So as I had upwards of 300 million, for 80 million I brought in Alessandro Bastoni, one of the best center backs in world football, and for a whopping 150 million, we are signing Ecuadorian William Pacho from PSG to partner Alessandro Bastoni. And I can't lie, just like that, our squad is even looking better than last year. However, we have a very weak reserve list. I think we need to bring in some backup players. So for 34 million, we brought in Ivo Saka from Aston Villa. And for 72 million, we brought in Joe Bellingham. And now that our squad depth has improved, surely we should start winning more than 2 trophies per season, as we only have 5 seasons left to achieve all of our goals. And this time around, Phil Foden was a top goal scorer with 24, while Ekitike also achieved 20. But I'm worried by the low score counts with this team. Another season and another player lost, as Lenny Euro will be joining Barca, as Aiden Haven will be joining Newcastle, and Sean Lamont has finally requested a transfer request, and I cannot remove it. Man, this game is so broken. And I can't lie, I'm loving dynamic potential this year. Everybody in the squad, barring Quenda, is a 90 overall. If we didn't win more than 2 trophies, I should be sacked. But somehow we are yet to win the Premier League, sitting in 4th place. And Wrexham of all teams won the FA Cup, and we failed to win the Carabao. Did we not win any trophies? But at least we've won the Super Cup, and we failed to reach the Champions League final, as we got knocked down in the round of 16. 1 trophy in season 6. That is terrible, man. Are we even gonna win 25 trophies, let alone the treble? And to begin season number 7, this is what the squad is looking like. But obviously, we're gonna have to sign a replacement for Lamont, who wants to leave, while signing 2 more center backs for the bench, because Lenny Euro and Haven have left the side. However, it's time for the unexpected event, and that unexpected event is going to be Club Shuffle. The board wants to go ahead and change things up here at Man United, so you must go ahead and sell 2 first-team players to sign 2 more superstars. And boys, this is not the best news. I was really liking this team. Despite only winning 1 trophy, I feel like this year we're gonna win at least 3. But of course, I have to go ahead and sell 2 starting 11 players to please the board. Sean Lamons won't be one of them because he already wants to leave. And I think the second player I'm going to sell is actually gonna be Jadon Sancho. He's been an incredible servant, but was never able to get into the starting 11. But before I sold Lamons and Sancho, I went ahead and signed 2 backup center backs for 30 million and Victor Rice, and for 60 million and 84 rated Finn Jelch. Of course, the time came as Sean Lamons joins Real Madrid for 150 million, while I did sell Jadon Sancho to Bournemouth for 126. So of course now I need to sign a replacement goalkeeper as well as a backup right winger, since we do have Phil Foden. And surely with the 373 million I do have, I should be able to find a replacement. And I think the 2 perfect replacements are Diego Costa, playing for AC Milan, and Tyler Dibling, who's currently playing for Fulham. So I went ahead and signed Diego Costa and Tyler Dibling, as both of them costed me 73 million. As once again, despite the unexpected events, I've still managed to build a very strong team. I just hope that we start winning trophies now, because we're already in season 7. And once again, Ekitike is the top goal scorer with 28 goals, Bellingham with 24, and Phil Foden with 22. However, these goal numbers are very low, and as per usual, this squad is looking absolutely incredible, man. Please tell me we won some trophies. But once again, we missed out on the Premier League, and we lost the FA Cup final to Villa, and we didn't even reach the Carabao Cup final. There's no way we're reaching 25 trophies like this. And sadly, we did not reach a UCL final, man. I'm gonna be honest, this takeover is way harder than I thought. So I think it's safe to say we failed the 25 trophies. However, we have 3 seasons left to win the treble. I think that alone will make Man United the best club in England again. And as we arrive in season number 8, the good thing is we did not lose a single player as of yet. But of course, it's time for the unexpected event, and the unexpected event is Captain's Betrayal. It is time for you to change your captain, so go ahead and swap your captain for Man City's worst player in that position. Boys, this is terrible news. Carlos Baleba has been with us since season number 2, and now we have to go ahead and swap him for their worst center midfielder. And not only that, we're gonna have to find a brand new captain here at the club. And the good news is City do have a bunch of center midfielders, but the worst one is Alex Toth, as Bruno Felipe Pinto is a cam, so he does not count. So for a straight swap for Carlos Baleba, we're bringing in Alex Toth. Boys, this is terrible news. We're never gonna win the treble losing our club captain. But to be honest, despite losing our captain, I don't think we need to make any signings, because Joe Bellingham will now be a starter alongside his brother, and Jude is our brand new captain. But as we're now in season number 8, we need Giovanni Quenda to also reach a 90 overall. And Ekitike has an all-time season with 40 goals, 9 assists, Foden with 36 and 18, and 26 and 5 for Jude Bellingham. I can't lie, we may have won some trophies this year. And Giovanni Quenda has an 89 overall, 1 overall off, 90 overall to complete that challenge. But regardless, the rest of the side is looking incredible. But the question is, did we win the treble this season? And yes, we have finally won the Premier League title. That's our first one. So we had another trophy. But we lost the FA Cup final to City and Baleba, man. So that means the treble is not on. And we failed to win the Carabao Cup as well. And sadly, we did not reach the Champions League final. 2 seasons left to go. And we still need to win the treble. But boys, in season number 9, I wasn't paying attention. Bellingham is leaving the side. Our dreams of the treble might be over. How did this even happen, man? I checked everyone's contract beforehand. And boys, this leaves a huge gap in the center attacking mid position. 2 of our captains have left in back-to-back years. We now need a new center attacking mid. But at least we do have 545 million to sign a superstar cam. And boys, I think these are the 2 signings I have to go for. Cole Palmer and Dean Huijsen. So as Jude Bellingham has joined City of all places, for 150 million we brought in Dean Huijsen, and for 180 million we brought in Cole Palmer. And this is what the side is looking like for season 9, as it's time for the unexpected event. And that unexpected event is trophy punishment. For every competition you don't win this season, you will have to release a starting 11 player. And now boys, this could be terrible. If we get knocked out early in the Carabao Cup, as soon as we get knocked out, we're gonna have to release one of our starting players. Gives us less players to hopefully win the treble this season. We have to do it this year, man. And boys, we're in the Community Shield final. If we lose this game right now, one of our starting players will be gone. But please, man, we won the Premier League last year. I know they've taken half of our players, but we could definitely beat Man City. And it's a 3-0 win in penalties. We will take that, man. And luckily, we've also reached the Carabao Cup final. But can we go ahead and beat our rivals in Liverpool and win our second trophy of the season? And it's a 1-1 drop, but we win on penalties. We get lucky once again. And boys, it seems like the treble is on as we're in the FA Cup final. If we win this and win the Prem and hopefully reach the UCL final, we would have won the treble with United. So it's time for the FA Cup final. Can we beat the Bottle Jobs, Tottenham Hotspur, and secure another trophy? And it's a 2-1 victory. Let's go. Only the Premier League and the UCL left to win. And we have reached the end of the season with Ekitike with 35 goals, Nico Pass with 30, and 21 and 12 for Foden and Palmer. And here is what the team is looking like. Sadly, Giovanni Quenda did not reach the 90 overall. We just failed that challenge. But the rest of the squad is looking absolutely incredible. I think Joe Bellingham may have left, which sucks. But I do hope that we have won the treble. And yes, it was true. Bellingham has joined Tottenham. We literally just beat him in the final. But regardless, did we win the treble? And yes, we have won the Premier League, which means if we're in the UCL final, we could still win that treble. And yes, we're in the Champions League final. If we win this, we will be treble winners. So the question is, can we beat Juventus to win the treble and take Man United to the very top? Yes, we have done it. A 3-1 victory as Ekitike, Palmer, and Paz win us the UCL. 2 challenges out of 4, I would take that. Takeovers are gonna be difficult. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to click on the screen to watch me take over Madrid in my first ever career mode series.